Hello, IceCap fans, for IceCaps 360 on this sunny but cold Thursday at Mile 1 Center in downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, Labrador. I'm Brian Rogers, play-by-play broadcaster of your St. John's IceCaps with head coach Keith McCambridge. Keith, just want to talk a little bit about the last two-game series against the physicality of the Worcester Sharks. In all estimations, it's tough, the two losses, but I thought your team addressed the fighting aspect of it tremendously. I mean, there were 5 bouts, nobody backed down, they did their job. Unfortunately, you didn't win, but at least in that department, you stepped up and answered the bell.
Yeah, Roger, when I look at, I look at the two games, obviously two really important games where you want to get yourself the points out of those contests. You want to get yourself 4 points, potentially 8 points when you look at in the division. And yes, I did like the fact that the guys stuck up for each other. The guys versus a very physical, tough team did well in that aspect of the game. When I look at the lack of results in it, the first game we have ourselves a chance to win that game with 4.5 minutes left in the third period. From playing an okay game, we take an undisciplined penalty, and now we're on the penalty kill. They score a goal, they tie it up, and in a minute and a half we miss our coverage and don't play, in my opinion, play the game the way it needs to be played, and that's physical with an edge, and it's in the back of our net, and now we lose that game. So then you roll into the next night, we have ourselves a chance. Even in the first period, they outshoot us. We try to get pucks in net. They're a good shot blocking team. Still need to have more of an edge on loose pucks. Need to have more guys that are involved in the game. But we go into the second period, they score a goal, 1-0, they're up, we take a penalty, and then off that face-off, they shoot it over the glass. I know the linesman called it. Do I agree with it? No. Do I like the call against Petio to start? No, but I've never been a coach that's going to lose fact or lose focus on what it is in the game, why you've lost the game. But now you're down, they score 5-on-3, they score the next shift 5-on-4. That's the game. That's the game. So out of those two games, you look at, we're now giving ourselves no chance to win the game. We're finding ways to not have success, to get on the wrong end of the results, and you lose 4 points in that series. So that's frustrating. Obviously at this point of the year, there comes a point, as I've always mentioned to you, where the guys start running with it more. The guys realize, what they have to bring every single night. They realize that as a group, this team has always been a team that gets things done by committee. So you can't have 3 or 4 guys, or at times 10 guys that aren't playing on top of their game, because if you do, you're not going to have success. That's just who we are, and there's not a problem with that. We have to be a hard-working team. We have to be a team that plays on the edge. We have to be a team that supports well, comes out of our D-zone clean, looks to generate offense by putting pucks in that have traffic. It's just who we are. That's our makeup. But when you don't have 5 guys, 2 guys, 10 guys, then you're going to lose games. So that's been our challenge. That's our challenge, and every time, with this group, as you've seen from day one here, you've been there on all the road trips, all the practices, all the games here. At any time you start to get traction, you start to build momentum as a group, and you think, okay, here we go, all of a sudden you have X amount of chunk of guys that aren't there the next night and back to square one again. So it's frustrating, but I know this league is about learning. This league is about developing. It's also about winning. So these guys are learning. They realize, we continue to push, continue to teach, continue to drag up into that, to get us into the playoffs here. But they have to realize that every single day you got to come to the rink with a purpose, and your purpose is to get better. So you got to make sure that you're working on the parts of your game that aren't efficient, and you got to make sure that you're building on all the positives that are taking place at times during games, during practice. So it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve, and every group, every team takes longer to eventually figure it out, and that's been the case with us. On top of that, you look at games in Syracuse where we have a chance, where we're winning the game. The line brawl breaks out, we take a penalty, then we take a penalty, go 5-on-3, and we find a way to not manage and not win that game. So frustrating parts of it. I like the fact that we've been adding guys into the lineup. You always want to make sure you're adding healthy bodies back in from what we've dealt with this year with King and Gagnon, et cetera, out of the lineup. So I like the fact we added Tremblay in there the last couple of games. We'll hopefully be able to add the 2 players that I just mentioned in Gagnon and King here. So it's part of what takes place on a day-in, day-out basis of games and practices. But at the end of the day, you got to get wins, and on top of that, you got to get better.
Yeah, and no doubt about it, this team has played a ton of hockey. I mean, you guys have had a crazy schedule. I'm not making excuses, but now you've got Connecticut, like Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, then we'll venture out on another 6-game, 14-day trip. I guess the only beauty of that is there is a little bit of downtime, maybe to get some good practices in, but as you mentioned, they're all huge, huge hockey games.
Yeah, big games, really big games, all of them, and, we realize what we deal with. We do have a lot of travel. It is good to be on the road and get to know each other and all that stuff that you talk about in pro sports that comes with being on the road. But this year, for some reason or another, our road schedule has been exhausting, Raj, to be honest. It's been, I know the players feel it at times, and us as coaches feel it, and we don't even play the game. So, the American League is a lot of travel, and we realize, that we fly to every game, and we want to make sure when we go out that we're cost effective. But right now this season, our travel on the road has been tough. But you also got to learn. You got to learn that, if hopefully you get to the National League level, there's going to be games. If you're based out of, Vancouver, LA, wherever you're based out of, that there's going to be travel involved there. So you got to find ways to win games. With our travel, you're going to lose points, in my opinion. There's, you're probably going to lose right now. I look at last year. I look at where we are this year. 6 to 8 points a year that you're going to lose where your team just hits that wall. But you got to make sure that you're making up those points when you can. You can't, you can't have nights where you're not going. That you have enough energy in the tank, you have enough reserves to get those wins. So, again, you got to make sure that we're keeping within striking distance in the playoffs. There's still lots of hockey to play here, and we want to get to the playoffs, Raj. We want to win games. We want to continue to develop here, but you got to push. You can't sit back. You can't waste away games the way we just did.
Keith, thank you so much for being so candid as usual. I know that all the folks out there in the social media world appreciate that. Good luck against Connecticut this weekend, beginning tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon.
Thank you, Raj.
For the head coach, Keith McCambridge, I'm Brian Rogers for IceCaps 360. We both wish you a wonderful Thursday, everyone.